Today, I am starting a new series. It is something that I've been wanting to do for a while, but after some trial and error, I think it's finally ready to go. This is what I'm calling the Nostalgia series, where I play a game that might have been a major part of your childhood. Games like Wizard 101, Animal Jam, Two Town, and Pirate 101. And while you get to see some gameplay, I will also be commenting on what I remember about the game, what I notice is different, as well as the story and to see how well it may have aged over time. For context, or just to jog your memory, Wizard 101 came out on September 2nd, 2009 by King Isle Entertainment, the same people who made Pirate 101, where you play as a wizard student that must learn and master their magic and save the Spiral, which is the universe that this game takes place in. And it has many different worlds with its own distinct looks. Like, there's a world just full of dogs, and they're all British, and it's like based off of Great Britain. Like, that's just crazy. Anyways, in this game, you must explore and take on missions, which revolve around you taking on enemies and defeating them in turn-based fighting. The story is also divided into many different arcs, and the complexity of it will be talked about later in the video. But for now, it is time to start talking about each aspect of the game. First off, the character customization, something that was immensely popular for free online games at the time, as not only was social media starting to rise in the early 2000s, but also digital worlds. This is why games like Second Life really started to take off. Having an avatar to express yourself is fun, and with the ability to create more than one character to play was an incredibly excellent idea, as it gives you creative freedom and the ability to try out all different classes they have throughout the game. Classes as in all the different types of wizards you could be: fire, winter, life, death, and many more. Now, there is the option of taking a test that tells you what type of wizard best suits your personality. Does it actually do that? Not really, as I've seen some stuff saying that it only really decides based on what gym you choose. But hey, I still do it anyways, as it's fun. So today I'm actually taking this test and creating a total new character, trying to see what I get now. Because I think when I was younger, I used to always get winter, I think, but I might be wrong. I don't know. It's been a long time. And I know I've heard that this test doesn't actually matter, or like, I guess it does, but like, you only get to, what decides what you get is like the last question, which is picking out a gym. You'll see, you'll see. So the first question is I would rather play by myself or go to a party. I'm just gonna go ahead and say play by myself because that's basically what I'm doing right now. Which of these is the most powerful? Um, as a kid, I feel like I used to say like the plague and like maybe a volcano, but I don't know, something that's really scary for me now personally is like probably a sandstorm because you just get drowned in sand, but also a hurricane. Hurricanes suck. I don't know, I think I'm just gonna say hurricane, maybe, because that's something I actually have to go through, man. Which best describes you? Uh, I could just sit here and go through all of these and try to convince you that I'm just like I'm really smart or something. But we're just gonna go with creative. What's your favorite season? I'm a winter baby, but honestly, I really like the fall. Like, yeah. The most important thing in the story is the heroine, or hero, or all of the characters. I'm gonna say all the characters. What is your favorite animal? As a kid, I think I used to say unicorn. I had a crazy unicorn phase. I won't go through it, but nowadays I might just say bat or dragon. I like dragons. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and say bat. Or maybe dragon. Dragon, definitely dragon. Oh gosh. I thought they only gave you like a couple of options. I feel like my answers were probably all over the place. They just threw a bunch of gems at me and were just like, just pick one. I don't know. I can't even go based off of like favorite color. I really can't. A woman sapphire. Oh, I got ice again. Honestly, I feel like I change personalities every 2 days, so whatever. When I started to play around with the customization, I noticed that they added a lot more customizing options, as well as changing the screen altogether. It was much more practical to hand select the hair you want, as I remember having to click the arrow button over and over just to see a hair that I only kind of liked. However, I could not help but notice that there is only one default outfit that you're stuck with. I remember being able to swap through the different boots and robes, and you get to choose whether you want a hat, maybe a smaller hat, maybe a hood. But now I was just stuck with that thing. Although you do get to unlock more clothing items as you go. I'm not entirely sure why they took that away, as it's not like it's making it any easier to tell if you're newbie because it says it like over your head that you're a newbie, but I don't know. Although overall, I like the new stuff that is added, especially the fun new eye colors, pupils they added. Just makes the whole experience even more fun. Now, the story, while I will not be going too into depth about the entire story, as that would take too long, I will be referring to the beginning of the game, as that is what is available for people without a membership, which is an entirely different topic for these free games. For what I remember and what I was able to understand from my brief time of revisiting this game is that basically this evil guy named Malistaire is rummaging in Headmaster Ambrose's tower. When you go to investigate, basically the guy says that he has unfinished business. It takes it upon himself to have his henchmen go against you, his latest student, and of course, our good Headmaster Ambrose here is like, oh, you literally just started being a wizard? Why don't you go ahead and fight the henchman for me? Why not? And after that, you kind of become Headmaster Ambrose's little errand kid. He just kind of makes you go around everywhere. It's just like, yep, you're a wizard now, so just go out and explore. Be wild. Go crazy. And he just makes you go to all these places, like go to Unicorn Way, and you have to talk to people like this dude.
Whoa, 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 young student. The street's very dangerous right now.
Now, I'm pretty sure that there was voice acting in the original game, like the one from like 10 years ago. But something that's very different about this version of the game is that there's actually a speaking animation for when they talk. They don't just look at you anymore, they're actually speaking. And I think some of the voices sound a little different. I don't know, it's just the NPCs have a little bit of personality. I used to have a mad crush on this guy right here.
Oh, hey there, I'm Saren. You're new here, aren't you? Well,
Never
I for
mind.
one am.
Anyways, back to the point. The story of this game, I would say, is the type of story where you don't have to get entirely involved in the lore to enjoy it, but it's rewarding if you do, which is what I think is great for games like this, as it allows kids to have fun, just roam around, and any older ones have something to pull them in. Like, why the death school is missing? What is up with this tree right here? Why they got random bears everywhere? What's up with this guy? Each boss fight has a book that tells you the history about their specific element, and each teacher has a remarkably interesting backstory. Like, I did not even know until recently that the evil man from the beginning and this dude right here were brothers. There are also a lot of things to do to keep yourself busy, even if you're playing under a free account. I remember as a kid finding a lot of stuff to be under a paywall, including the other worlds you can go into in this game. But if you look hard enough, you can find plenty of side quests that are pretty interesting. There's also a lot of going back and forth for some missions. But it's super easy once you have a mount, unless you are a free account like I am and you just have to hop around everywhere. But they actually have the option of giving you a mount for today, and you can buy a mount that lasts a full day at the shop in the comments. Just keep it in mind, it costs 1,000 coins. Now, I know it's not the best habit to be a member to experience the full game, but I don't typically mind it, as personally, playing this game is just something I like to do to pass the time. Not saying it's not a good game, as I do think it is. There's actually a lot of talk about Wizard 101 being similar and a more simpler, friendly version of World of Warcraft, as I have played my fair share in both, and both have a lot of quests, lore, and cool unlockable abilities and outfits. But one thing that is different is the find mechanics, but both give you the ability to unlock a pet. I mean, I think it's great that Wizard 101 lets you have a pet to look after, as I remember Jumpstart doing the same thing. Shout out to anyone that played this game too. I'm not actually sure if they allow your pet to become an adult if you're not a member, but I do remember my pets always being babies, although it could just be that I didn't know how to properly take care of them back then. The last thing I will go over is the fighting mechanics, which, as I said before, is a turn-based style combat, which is something that is known by King Isle. As Pirate 101 follows the same style, but of course it's a little different. I would say that Pirate 101 has a lot more similarities to games like Fire Emblem, where you control their movements and select where they attack or heal which opponent or ally. However, Wizard 101 follows the same strategy as games like Persona 5, in which you don't actually move around but instead take turns doing certain abilities. In this case, you use a spell deck as your weapon choice. And how you fight is based on the amount of mana orbs you save up and the amount of energy you have. I like it a lot how you use cards for combat. It reminds me a lot of TCG games. And it can be real fun if you're into collecting cards, especially if you like dueling. I grew up watching Yu-Gi-Oh, so it's no wonder why I enjoyed running around as a kid and just taking down all the monsters. Bye. It's just too satisfying. Now, that's pretty much all that I wanted to go over about Wizard 101, and I hope this video reminded you of the experience you had playing this game. And I don't know, maybe it convinced you to try it out again, for old time's sake, or maybe you just wanted to find a fun, simple game to play, and this is the one that would allow you to pass time and just relax. I will say, however, that it does get addictive. While the majority of players do seem to be younger players, I promise that there is actually a community of people that have been playing for years, and unlike us, they never stopped. Props to them. But anyways, that is all for me now, so I'll see you in another video. Do not be too surprised if you see more Wizard 101 on this channel, and don't worry, more co-op videos soon. Oh, what? Where am I? Oh, well, I just felt like Wizard 101. I wasn't really getting out all my stress from finals. So I'm just hopping over World of Warcraft for a little bit. Anyways, bye!
Whoa, 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 young student. The street's very dangerous right now.